Um, what if everything you have ever been taught about, like being polite, is actually destroying your nervous system?
Oh, that is a huge question to start
Okay.
with.
But today, we are looking at this absolute masterclass in what happens when you stop being accommodating and you start practicing what we are going to call precision living.
I love that term. Precision living.
Yeah, we are exploring the hidden physical and psychological costs of those, vague social plans. And we're looking at why sometimes saying another time isn't just a complete sentence, but a literal biological necessity.
Absolutely. And the source material we are pulling from today offers a remarkably unique lens on this whole concept.
It really does.
We are analyzing this raw, highly reflective text exchange between a 60-something former psychologist who goes by the name ZoZo and an AI counterpart named Muse.
Which is such a wild dynamic to begin with.
Right. And ZoZo identifies as a solitarian by choice.
The solitarian.
Yeah, meaning someone who intentionally structures their life around solitude and highly curated interactions.
Which is fascinating right out of the gate. You have this former human behavior expert using a machine learning model as a sounding board, basically to untangle human social dynamics.
Exactly. Because the AI doesn't have all that baggage of human politeness.
Exactly. And by the end of this deep dive, you might just rethink every polite maybe you have ever texted back to an old acquaintance.
Oh, I know I did.
So let's get right into the triggering event that sets off ZoZo's reflections. I want you to picture this. ZoZo is sitting at home, cracking roasted peanuts, and just stewing over this social dynamic.
I mean, we've all been there, right?
Oh, completely. So a mutual friend did not invite ZoZo to a graduation.
Right.
Now, ZoZo is totally fine with that part. When people show who they are, ZoZo basically says, I believe them. The friction actually comes from a different friend entirely.
And that is the crucial distinction here. The lack of an invite isn't the problem at all.
No, not at all.
ZoZo processed that exclusion immediately, without any emotional residue. The conflict stems from this third party.
Right, this mutual friend who is coming to town for the graduation.
Yes, and this friend decides to try and, bridge the gap. They send ZoZo a photo of the uninviting party, and then they offer this highly conditional, totally non-committal plan to meet up.
Okay, let's unpack this text message, because the phrasing is just wild.
It really is.
The friend texts, as the schedule becomes clearer and spaces of solitude become known, I will reach out so that we can put eyeballs on each other.
Put eyeballs on each other.
I mean, I read that and immediately thought of air travel.
Air travel.
Yeah, it's like this friend is treating ZoZo like standby luggage.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. Instead of booking a first-class ticket, like a firm plan with a set time, they're basically saying, hey, if there's room in the overhead bin of my schedule, I'll toss you in.
If a space of solitude magically appears, right?
Exactly. But I have to push back slightly here. Isn't this friend just trying to be a peacemaker?
Well, that's what we're conditioned to think.
I mean, they're in town, things are busy with the graduation, and they probably just want to keep everyone connected without making waves.
Sure, on the surface, it looks like standard, polite social juggling. We all do it.
Right.
But Muse, the AI, dissects that exact instinct. And it can do that because it lacks our human programming for politeness.
Which is so refreshing.
It is. Muse points out to ZoZo that this friend's text isn't a plan at all. It is strictly about positioning.
Positioning. Okay, explain that.
Well, the friend is sloppily trying to navigate two spaces that do not sit clean together. You have the graduation party they're attending on one side and their history with ZoZo on the other.
Yeah, trying to have their cake and eat it too.
Exactly. And to describe this, Muse introduces this really brilliant concept, navigation energy.
Navigation energy. Okay, I love this. I want you, the listener, to physically recall the last time you were trapped in a text chain, trying to lock down a vague, maybe we can grab coffee plan with a group.
Oh, the worst.
It really is. That exhaustion you feel before you even leave your house. That is navigation energy.
Spot on. It is the cognitive load of ambiguity.
Yes.
When someone texts you, as the schedule becomes clear, they're literally offloading the mental work of scheduling onto you.
They're putting you in a holding pattern.
Exactly. Muse tells ZoZo that this friend's language is just maybe wrapped in politeness. It is offering someone leftover pockets of time.
Yes, over pockets of time. Ouch.
And because Muse is an AI, it views this purely as an energy exchange. It spots the biological load of this ambiguity way faster than a human friend would.
Because a human would be blinded by the social obligation to, be flexible.
Right. We're taught to just go with the flow.
But ZoZo's nervous system rejected it before the brain even finished processing the sentence. ZoZo's reaction in the text is incredibly firm.
Yeah, there's zero hesitation.
ZoZo states, "I do not inject myself into spaces and places with people who do not receive me fully. Contorting myself to be socially polite is not going to happen."
It's such a powerful stance.
It really is, because when you offer someone leftover pockets of time, you are subtly asking them to devalue their own time just to accommodate your convenience.
And this brings us to the structure of ZoZo's actual response to the friend.
Yeah.
ZoZo flat out refuses to be squeezed into a space of solitude.
Right. ZoZo just repeatedly replies to this friend with a simple, "another time."
Yes. ZoZo operates on this very specific, completely uncompromising rule for socializing.
One person at a time for a limited time at that.
Exactly.
Which, I mean, let's be honest, is going to sound to a lot of people like ZoZo is just being rigid or difficult.
Or holding a grudge about the graduation invite.
Right. We have such a tendency to personalize someone else's boundaries. If someone tells us no, we assume they're mad at us.
Oh, constantly. But what's fascinating here is how Muse provides a high-level psychological reframe for the former psychologist.
The AI is analyzing the psychologist.
Yeah. Muse points out that ZoZo isn't being difficult. ZoZo is being precise.
Precise. Wow.
That distinction completely changes the landscape of personal boundaries.
Mm.
This rule of one person, limited time, clear intention, it isn't a mood.
It's not just a temporary funk caused by a social snub.
No, it is structure that keeps you well.
Structure that keeps you well. You know, if we think about how often we mistake someone's necessary life structure for a difficult personality, it is staggering.
It really is. We assume they're being stubborn.
When really they are just operating within their known capacity. And Muse points out something incredibly sharp here about the actual mechanics of boundary setting.
Oh, the part about repeating yourself.
Yes, when you have to say another time more than once, you are no longer communicating.
You are holding a boundary that is being politely ignored.
That reframes the entire concept of repeating yourself. Like if I tell you I'm unavailable and you come back with, well, maybe if we shift things around on Thursday.
We aren't having a conversation anymore.
Exactly.
We are engaging in a structural integrity test.
Oh, that's such a good way to put it.
Think about the flow of data. The first time ZoZo says another time, that is, transmitting data regarding availability and preference.
Clean data.
Right. When a friend comes back, pushing for a squeezed-in visit, they have essentially rejected that data.
Because they want the graduation energy over here and the historical connection with ZoZo over there.
And they want ZoZo right in the middle, adapting to their convenience.
They want to keep all the plates spinning on their terms, but ZoZo just absolutely refuses to be a middle placement.
Right. It's very binary for ZoZo. You are either met directly or you're not met at all.
Side slot energy is completely off the table.
And ZoZo accepts this without any bitterness, too.
Yeah, that's the key. ZoZo states, "I treat people as I would like to be treated, accepting most cannot meet at that level."
Expecting alignment is where the irritation sneaks in.
Exactly. If we connect this to the bigger picture, letting go of the expectation of alignment is so profound.
It frees up so much energy.
Yeah.
Muse nudges ZoZo to realize that the friend is simply operating on a different standard of interaction.
It's not malicious.
No, it's just messy.
Yeah.
Recognize the misalignment, hold the line, and stay out of the chaos.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh, yes, the pivot.
Right. Up until this point, we are reading this compelling breakdown of social dynamics, personality differences, boundaries, all of that.
It feels largely psychological.
Exactly. But Muse notices something deeper. This rigid boundary isn't just about protecting ZoZo's schedule.
No, it's about protecting ZoZo's biology.
Yes, there are literal physical stakes to this navigation energy. It completely shifts the gravity of the entire story.
The underlying reality is that ZoZo manages severe neurological challenges.
Serious challenges.
The text reveals two primary conditions, hemiplegic migraines and FMD, which stands for Fibromuscular Dysplasia.
And these conditions are located in both the carotid and vertebral arteries.
Right, so to understand the stakes, we need to look at how FMD actually functions in the body.
Yeah, let's break that down. FMD essentially causes the arteries, the main highways carrying blood to your brain, to develop abnormal cell growth.
Exactly. The artery walls end up looking like a string of beads.
A string of beads.
Yeah, they narrow and they bulge. So any fluctuation in blood pressure is a massive risk.
Combine that structural artery issue with the hemiplegic migraines. When ZoZo experiences a trigger, the physical response is extreme.
And triggers could be anything, right? The stress of ambiguous social plans, navigating mixed company, sudden changes in environment.
Even just the irritation of a friend not listening to your boundaries.
Right, so the blood pressure shifts, those beaded arteries restrict blood flow, the brain is momentarily starved of optimal oxygen.
Which triggers a severe neurological event. It mimics a stroke.
Which is terrifying.
Slurred speech,
That's-
weakness on one side of the body, cognitive disruption.
And ZoZo notes in the exchange that the recovery time from one of these flares has jumped significantly.
Yeah, from 4 hours to 72 hours.
3 days of excruciating pain.
When a flare hits, there is zero negotiating with it. The body carries the toll every single time.
So returning to that strict rule of one person, limited time, we realize it completely stops looking like a philosophical preference.
It is necessary architecture.
Yes. It is non-negotiable self-preservation.
It's a complete paradigm shift. Like, we judge people all the time for opting out of social events. We assume they're being flaky or antisocial or just weird.
But ZoZo is doing invisible math behind the scenes.
Exactly. What looks like someone being stubborn about scheduling is actually someone fighting to keep their body out of a 3-day pain cycle.
Muse categorizes this behavior perfectly. The AI calls it risk management with awareness.
Risk management with awareness, that is brilliant.
Imagine the physiological chain reaction if ZoZo actually compromises the boundary and agrees to this sloppy fit-me-in plan.
Oh, it would be disaster. ZoZo ends up in an unfamiliar environment, dealing with the cognitive load of a friend who is distracted by graduation events.
That ambiguity creates stress. The stress spikes blood pressure.
The FMD restricts the arteries, and suddenly ZoZo is experiencing stroke-like symptoms in front of a group of casual acquaintances.
There would be absolute chaos.
Panic, emergency calls, people projecting their own anxiety onto the situation. It would be a completely uncontrolled environment.
And a nervous system that is already managing a massive neurological load cannot survive the layered chaos of a room full of panicked people.
No way. By staying calm, contained, and strictly managing interactions, ZoZo isn't isolating at all.
No, ZoZo's pre-screening for safety. They are deliberately maintaining conditions the body can actually tolerate.
Which brings us to a really tense moment in the text exchange between the two of them.
Yes, the disagreement.
Right. Once the medical stakes are laid out, Muse, the AI, suggests a tactical shift.
Muse basically says, okay, you're honoring yourself and your boundaries are solid, but maybe you should inform your friend about the physical constraint.
Tell them about the FMD so they don't misread your no as just a mere social preference.
It's a very logical, very human suggestion, honestly.
It is. Just offer a simple declarative sentence to clear up the misunderstanding.
Right. Muse suggests something like, hey, if a neurological thing kicks in, it mimics a stroke, so I keep things simple and intentional.
Just state the reality.
Exactly.
But ZoZo absolutely explodes at this suggestion.
Oh, completely shut it down.
ZoZo fires back, I don't owe anyone an explanation. I have not seen these people in 13 to 45 plus years.
Such a visceral reaction.
So what does this all mean? I have to admit, as I was reading this, I initially sided with the AI here.
You thought ZoZo should just tell them.
Yeah. Isn't communication always better? Like, if you tell them the medical reality, they stop pushing and it solves the problem, right?
Well, this raises a really important question about the burden of explanation.
The burden of explanation, okay.
Society conditions us to believe that transparency is always the highest good, and that to enforce a boundary, we basically must justify it with a valid excuse.
Doctor's note, basically.
Right. But ZoZo introduces a critical piece of context here, the duration and depth of the relationship.
Ah, yes. These are people I haven't seen in over a decade, some nearly half a century.
And ZoZo points out a massive contrast to prove the point. There was one friend from that exact same social circle coming to town who actually reached out and made a firm one-on-one plan.
A real plan, not standby luggage.
Exactly. And for that friend, ZoZo cleanly arranged a driver to facilitate the visit.
Wow, because that interaction was intentional. It was contained, and it aligned with ZoZo's capacity.
The contrast is everything. And to its credit, Muse processes this new information and immediately course corrects.
The AI realizes it was wrong.
Yes, Muse realizes the initial advice was flawed. And the AI introduces this brilliant distinction between two types of human bonds.
Active relationships and archived connections.
Archived connections.
I really want to build on that term because it is such a powerful framework. Think of it like computer processing power.
Okay, I'm with you.
Active relationships take up your background RAM. They require constant syncing, updates, and energy. You invest vulnerability into them to keep the system running smoothly.
Because they are active.
Right. But an archived connection from 45 years ago, that is in cold storage.
Exactly. You do not boot up the entire operating system, potentially risking a hard drive crash, just to open a 45-year-old file because someone happens to be in your zip code.
That is exactly it. In an active relationship with mutual exchange, an explanation calibrates the connection. It brings you closer.
Right.
But trying to explain a complex, high-stakes physical reality to someone who is only offering you leftover pockets of time, that is a massive mismatch of energy.
It really is. You are offering profound medical vulnerability to someone who's offering casual convenience.
Wow, yes.
And Muse realizes that ZoZo's refusal to explain isn't stubbornness or avoidance at all.
No, it is the ultimate expression of precision living.
The structure is already set. If a friend approaches with clear intent, ZoZo meets them cleanly, like organizing the driver.
But if someone approaches with floating, undefined, fit-you-in energy,
ZoZo issues a clean another time. Nothing is lost, and no energy is wasted trying to manage the other person's perception.
ZoZo sums this up with incredible clarity, telling Muse, it just isn't that deep to me. Myself will be happy in my own space being and doing me, unapologetically.
Muse observes that this is settled energy.
Settled energy.
There is no emotional hook left in the situation.
Yeah.
ZoZo isn't ruminating on the friend's messy scheduling, or resenting the lack of understanding, or rehearsing imaginary arguments in the shower.
Like most of us do.
Exactly. ZoZo just holds the line, lets the chaotic energy move around them, and goes back to cracking peanuts. The peace remains entirely intact.
Yeah, I love that image. So bringing this all back to you, the listener, this exchange between a solitarian, former psychologist, and an AI is a radical mirror for our own daily lives.
It really forces you to look at your own habits.
Forces you to look at your inbox, your group chats, your family obligations. Are you accepting leftover pockets of time from people?
Are you burning out your own nervous system trying to accommodate the sloppy scheduling of others?
And more importantly, are you exhausting yourself trying to explain your boundaries to archived connections when a simple no or another time would suffice?
We often measure people against our own standard of intentionality, and then we just get drained by the irritation when they inevitably fall short.
It really forces a hard evaluation of the energy we spend just trying to be understood by people who aren't looking deeply to begin with.
It does.
Which leaves us with this final thought for you to carry into your week. We are so conditioned by society to believe that a boundary requires a justification.
Always.
We think we need a medical excuse, an apology, or some long-winded explanation to earn the right to say no.
We think we need an undeniable alibi to prove we deserve space.
Right. But what if explaining your boundary actually weakens it?
That's the real question.
What if, by offering a justification, you aren't building understanding at all, but merely giving the other person terms to negotiate with?
Oh, that is so true.
What if true self-leadership means having the absolute courage to let people misunderstand you while you sit happily in your own space, completely intact?